Shamani and Max, I see you here. I thought I had let you in. Jorge is also joining us. We were doing breakout rooms already, and each person was reading their piece for the monologue. I just asked everybody to read off the book, the monologue, because they are due Thursday. So we're expecting you to do the performance next class session. So today we were not doing the performances, we were just reading, and I was listening in to some very interesting conversations as to how to approach the practice. Yes, that's great that you were, trying to help each other by saying, this is what I'm doing, just practicing. And also that I'm trying to convey, the emotions of the character, what the character is going through, and how to do that. And one advice that I wanted to give to everybody was, if there is a word that you think it's complicated, that is complicating you, you can use a synonym. It's a phrase that you try, but it's not happening for you. You can replace it. Okay, find something simpler to say. Do you have any questions or so that I can help you out?
Aside from, the actual performance, do you have any tips and tricks on how to calm yourself down before a performance?
I do have one. Yeah, a couple of comments, suggestions. If somebody else has more suggestions, that would be great. I have two. Okay. One is to do this in front of someone else. Get a friend. Get your mom. Get some of your relatives, and do it one time, 2 times, 3 times.
Question.
So that you get your own audience going. It's important.
Question. Sorry. Yeah. What if you don't have anybody? I have no friends on campus and my parents don't really come here often.
How do you communicate with your parents and friends?
I don't have any friends. I have a cat.
Okay, but do you have a phone? How do you communicate with your parents?
The only friends I have is my mother and my grandmother. I don't have any friends.
I'm not talking about friends now. I'm talking about your mom. How do you communicate with her? You probably, do you use your phone?
When it has service, yes.
Well, talk to your mom on the phone. Do the performance over the phone, right? You're not looking at the book. You're just talking to her and she's listening to you, okay? That's the way, because then you have it going lively and she is listening to you, and then she can give you feedback on what you're doing, okay? So that's one idea, one recommendation. The second one would be, I thought I would say videotaping is good. If you can videotape yourself and see, because that gives a different dimension to the situation. And it's good to look at you, performing. And thirdly, the idea, well, let me keep at the second comment, okay, or suggestion. The video, when you see that the camera is looking at you and videotaping you, it's like having an audience, okay? So that's what we need. But thirdly, and more importantly, use that energy, precisely that energy, the tension, right? The anxiety before you do, to propel you through the performance as well. That's what any performer does. Any performer, like let's say a person who plays an instrument on a stage and has to deliver a piece, they have to incorporate that into what they are doing. There's no way that necessarily will go away. It's part of the performance. It's an intrinsic part of the performance, okay? So don't see it as something negative. That's what I'm trying to say. See it as something positive, because you're engaging, right, with what you are doing. It's part of it completely. And if you have a hesitation or something is happening, just come back, okay? We're here, all of us, to support you, to say
I have a question.
yes, okay? To say yes to you. Yes.
Professor. So instead of performing like the day of, can you record yourself performing and then share it with on your screen and just play the video?
I said from the beginning of this that I would like for the students to perform.
Okay, I just wanted to see if that was an option.
Yeah, no, I did not give that option to anybody, actually.
Okay.
But that means, thanks for asking the question, because what I'm trying to think about here is that you need to have a space, right, to do this. Because you're going to turn your video on, right? And we will be seeing you. So please pay attention to that. You need to kind of secure it, and if you have a question about that, or you have a private situation that you would like to communicate to me, please do so, okay? Please do so. But my intention is for us to kind of create a collective situation that we are all enjoying somehow, okay? Any other questions?
I have one. I was remembering the videos that we watched of the monologues, of the winning monologues and things like that. Yeah. And I remembered how they had a little bit of like dressed up as sort of, if we wanted to, like for instance, for example, I am supposed to be portraying this broken person. Say I were to grab, I don't know, one of my dad's flannel button downs and wear it with like one of his white shirts. Would that be something we could do? You know, just something very...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if you need, if you think that you can add a prop, that would be fantastic. Now, let me just say this, okay? I just remembered something. Please make sure that we see your eyes and your face. So think about hair, okay? And hairstyle in that regard. And of course, let me give you an example, okay? We couldn't see your eyes if you put a cap on. So baseball cap, no way, we cannot have it, okay? We need to see your face. So that's very important.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. That's very important. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think I have time because I want to begin with my presentation, my example for, let me see, Shamani, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Just making sure. Okay. Jorge, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, because you were not part of the breakout rooms, and I'm just trying to make sure that you're getting the information that you need, okay? Okay, so I would like to, yeah, because I think I have, yeah, I think I have time. So I'll do a second breakout room, okay? A second time for breakout rooms. This time, this is what I would like you to do. I would like you to tell your classmates, what is your monologue all about? Basically, what is your interpretation of the character's situation? Why do we need this monologue? Okay, how do you interpret the situation of the character? What do you think is happening at this time to this character? What makes it meaningful, actually? What makes the monologue meaningful? What is your, because if you don't have an interpretation of the monologue, you don't have a performance. That's the reason why I'm asking you to do, the presentation. I would like to know how you interpret that situation. Okay, what is your interpretation? adding physicality to your interpretation. That's what we are doing. So let's find out, what is the meaning? What is the meaning of your monologue? What makes it meaningful to you? Okay, I'll do the breakout rooms. And we are more now, so I'll do more breakout rooms. I guess I'll do 3 breakout rooms. Let me see. Oh, I already have them set up. I guess I'll do 2.
A depressed state, I would say. She's like very sad that like her husband like died, and her friend what's his name, Alejandro, is there like standing by her, and like he loves her, but he doesn't like fully come out and say it because she's like sobbing over her husband.
Right. Oh, unrequited love. Anyway, sorry. Okay, and so is she reading from a letter? I forget.
Yes, she's reading from a letter that she wrote to her husband,
Okay.
Federico.
Let me see. Okay. Okay. And so it says Marta taking off her mask and chains. Is that it? 45, you said? Page 45?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I start to read after midnight to I survived.
Right. I think, you know what I was just remembering? There's some stage directions in here that could be fun to play off of. Like, I know before it says, you know, solemnly taking a folded letter. You know, I think you could do that. I think and then like she puts the letter down and whispers. Like, you could have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. Yeah, just like have fun with it. Like there's a lot of stage directions in here for you to actually follow. So and then pause as she continues to read the letter. Like, yeah, just have fun with it. Like, you know.
Yeah.
You got lucky with stage directions. The rest of us have to kind of see. Like, I think also like it says at the beginning of scene 5, Marta taking off her mask and chains, because I know like it's before where you're supposed to read, but I think you can kind of play with that a little. Like, if you wanted to, you could pick up like some cheap chains, especially since it's nice because it's Halloween season. You can actually do that without people looking at you funny.
True.
So I mean, if you really wanted to do that, but again, that's just my personal preference. You can do with what you will, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
may I say something?
absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's fantastic. Okay, that you're helping each other out, but please make sure that everybody shares their story. Okay.
You're right. I apologize.
And and then maybe you can give feedback, because we won't have too much time. Okay. Please make sure that everybody shares their interpretation.
Okay.
All right. How about Shamani and Jorge? Since you're new to this group, you wanna jump in and say something?
But it'd be like that.
And for mine, I think it's kind of like, I think it's her just saying that like she isn't made to forgive anyone, which is like pretty stated in it. But I think it's expected a lot of times, often from women, that we're supposed to be like forgiving and kind and loving, and you know. And I think she's really saying that like that's not who she is. That's not what she's made to be. And she makes a lot of like references to like God is supposed to be all forgiving and all loving, but she's just a woman and she's not.
Yeah, she's trying to say like she's not like part of the Bible and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. She's not just like some character. Like she's a real person with like feelings, and there comes to a point where like you just don't want to take anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What page is this? Who is the character?
This is 194 for Evening Walk.
194. Okay. And who is the character? Oh,
Gertrudis.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you also get the idea that the character is always very pretending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretending to pass as a non-conformist individual until the mother really is able to pull the rug up under her feet and show her, you know, who's real. Because Gertrudis is pretending all the time. She wants for everybody to believe that, you know, she's out there and obnoxious about her stance regarding who she would like for people to believe she is like. So I think that's important too for this character.
Okay,
And usually saying, you know, to other women, you're nothing. You're complying. You're complicit with the system. Who are you? Shame on you. My comments, sorry.
Oh no, thank you.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
I know, but you are right, Professor. She is complying to the system, but she shouldn't.
Yeah. Exactly, and I ultimately left, you know, to death.
Did you all already share your interpretation or your character?
Yeah, we did.
Yes, we did.
Any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll see what is happening at the other room, and I will get us back to the class situation.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
After those, so try that, and then like kind of like you know, break it down into parts where he gets excited, where he gets a little anxious, and then where he jumps out the window. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Okay. So how about Lindsay and Jorge? What do you think your character is going through during your monologue? Because honestly, I have a hard time with that, being serious. I don't know. He's feeling too much.
Well, like I said before, he's not passing through a mental breakdown at that moment. He's just telling the story of his brother, which she wanted a sister.
Right.
He might be a little bit pissed because of that, but he was just telling the story.
Right. Okay. Do you think, I was talking to Lindsay about this earlier, do you think your character would change his voice to a higher tone when he's impersonating himself as a younger child? Or do you think that it's just something he would not do?
I think he will use his normal voice with that, but at the moment when he says he jumped out of the window, he will make like a exclamation right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we are all coming back. Jaylene, can you do me a favor and talk about your own piece, your interpretation? Can you tell us what is the page, first of all?
The page is 68.
68. Okay.
And it's Mother 1.
Okay, so please go to page, everybody, please go to page 68. 68. I'm trying to get there, okay? I'm slow today. 68. Okay. Okay, so it's Mother 1. Mother 1 is the monologue, the long monologue, and this is preceding the climax of the play and the resolution of the play. So it's a very important monologue because of that. Go ahead, who is the character? What is your interpretation? What is happening here with this monologue?
So basically Mother 1 is talking. Oh, I heard it. Mother 1 is talking to her son, and the son responds back to her saying that it's dark and he's cold because from my interpretation, he was like tortured, or he was, kept somewhere. And then the mother continues and she begins to mimic like the system, because it says the legal process is extremely slow. So that's when she would go to say an office or somewhere important to see if she can get some type of answers. But at the end of it, she has come to the realization that she really won't get the answer she deserves, because there's only so much information that they will give out.
Yes.
So that was my interpretation of it. And I think it's also extremely important because it still continues on today, and it shows their lucha, as we would say, to get the answers that they need.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah. The fight for justice, right, is endless. And she's placed in that situation of having to demand justice for what is taking place and not being probably listened to by or heard by the government in Chile, the government in Chile. Could you please read just a segment of it? Not everything. You begin at son, right? Son, they want to tear you to pieces. Could you read some of it?
Yeah. Son, where did they take you? What did they do with you?
But that's not your monologue.
Wait, yeah, it is. On 68.
This is the monologue, but those are not the lines assigned to you.
Oh, I thought it was a whole monologue that I had to read.
No,
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to read the whole monologue.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay.
Please go to the raise your hand forum where I indicated each specific, the lines for everybody. So you should have been practicing already, your own lines.
No, because I had taken a picture and I guess I didn't read specifically. So I had been practicing
whoa,
basically the quotation marks.
Oh,
so
the professor
hold on.
Mad. Okay. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to show again the monologues right here. I said all lines, and then from a start until I realized that to forget Vietnam, I'm very specific, very specific. Let's see, Jaylene. Where are you, Jaylene? Right here. 68, son, they want to tear you to pieces until end of monologue. Jaylene is written right here. You see? I'm not lying.
Yeah, I know. I really must have not seen, I probably completely passed it because I just saw the page 68, so I must have not read the complete page. So that's my fault on my behalf.
So if somebody else has done that, please make sure to refer to this page that you have, right? Because I sent it to you. And make sure to only, right, give your interpretation of the lines that I have assigned to you. And even I said, if you have complication with some lines, you know, simplify them. You're having trouble with the specific words, simply look for synonym or something, you know. No. Okay, so Jaylene, now can you start your monologue?
Yes, I can now. Son, they want to tear you to pieces, denying you life, without giving you death either. And the judges write calmly, add it to his file, take care of it, file it, forget it. Because for some people, what's most important is that petitions merely go through legal procedures, that appeals be used up even if life runs out much earlier.
Okay, thanks. I would use hopefully a masculine voice, right? For when the judges and the legal system, the corrupt legal system is speaking, okay? So the mother should be at pains to expressing her pain, right? Or her situation. Son, you're talking to your son, right? They want you to tear you to pieces, denying your life without giving you death either. And the judges write calmly, add it to his file. Take care of it. File it. Forget it. Because for some people, what is important is that petitions merely go through the legal procedures. I know she's using, you know, a language that is more abstract, but the challenge there would be to come back to the mother's voice and leave behind the cold, harsh voice of the corrupt legal system, right? So for me, the legal system is very patriarchal and masculine, okay? Sexist, okay? Dark. So you need to convey that through your tone. And then come back to the pain of the mother as much as you can, although it's challenging because she's using abstractions. But this, I think, is a good suggestion, okay? Not everybody has the same challenge that Jaylene's, because remember, Jaylene, I said you'll have to change voices.
Yeah, I remember you telling me last class.
And I think there is somebody else who's also reading the voice of that comes through a letter. So you have the voice of the character on the stage, but also the voice of the person who sends the letter. So we have two different voices. And you need to indicate that. Even with an action, you might indicate it, you know, before you are the mother doing something physically, and then you are the legal system, right? Speaking to us, maybe in a different position, and so on and so forth. Questions in here, I would like to, yeah, questions or comments, anything before I do my example for you guys? Okay, so we move on to Claudia Piñeiro and her book, All Yours. What I'm asking you to do again is to do presentations on specific pages that I have already assigned to you. If you were late in coming to the class session today, I already said that. And I'm going to show again. Let me see, where is it that I have it? I'm not sure this is it. No, this is not what I want to show you. Okay, here. This I will post right after the class in the raise your hand forum I said already. But here you have the pages, the date, name of presenter. I'll do this today and Thursday to give you two examples. Here you have the pages. Jimena, Kaylee, and Sky are assigned the first presentations. Then Lindsay, Jorge, Max, Shamani, Megan, Jaylene, Kels. So again, you have the pages, you have the dates, but then you have your name and specific pages, okay? to break down the total number of pages right here, okay? So I'm giving you 2 examples and I should begin mine right now. I will begin it with the first part. Notice that here I have the description of the how to go about the presentation, right? This is the evaluation, but in fact is the guidelines for you to do your presentation. I am assuming that everybody will take about 20 minutes, okay? You have more or less 20 minutes to do your own presentation. And that's what I'll try to do today, hopefully. So to begin my presentation, I'll give you 2 questions because that's part of the presentation. And here you have my 2 questions. Question number 1. What took place at Palermo Woods? Of course, I'm taking for granted that you read the pages. Number 2, what is troubling Lali so much? I chose these 2 questions because without knowing this, we do not understand the beginning of this crime novel by Piñeiro. She's from Argentina, very well known, many books published, internationally known writer. So what took place at Palermo Woods and what is troubling Lali so much? The first one is easier. The second one is more complicated, maybe because you need to interpret what you were reading, okay? Okay, so I'm going to begin by giving you an overview. This is, well, I don't know if you see it right there. This is all I have for my presentation, my piece of paper, okay? With just some indications, some sentences, not even sentences to guide me through, okay? So I'm just going to mostly speak to you, and that's what I intend for you to do, okay? Not reading off a piece of paper, just presenting, okay? Like a public kind of public speak situation. So public, yeah, speaking publicly to people freely somehow, okay? Overview. I'll be presenting to you 4 chapters today. Chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. They have numbers in the book. In the first chapter, we find that there is a narrator for this novel, okay? And her name is Inés. We'll know this afterwards. But the name of the narrator we'll get to know is it's Inés, female narrator. In this first chapter, what happens is that she witnesses the death of somebody. We also get to know the main characters for the novel, her husband, Ernesto, her daughter, Lali, and there is a secondary character here whose name is Alicia. Chapter 2, there is a phone conversation. So we have a dialogue between 2 characters. Phone conversation takes place between 2 teenagers. One is going through something and is having trouble to deal with it, okay? Their names are Paula in Spanish, or Paula, and then Lali or Laura, okay? Lali is the nickname in this case for Laura. Chapter 3, the narrator goes back home and she sees Lali, okay? In the first chapter, actually, she goes to the woods, the Palermo Woods. So now she goes back home, she's home. Chapter 4, second phone conversation. This time it takes place between Lali, the couple's daughter, and this woman, okay, that identifies herself as the mother of Ivan in Spanish, Ivan, okay? So that's in a nutshell what the chapters are about. I'll go now for the second part of layer of my presentation chapter by chapter in more detail, explaining how the plot advances, progresses, okay? And then I'll try to finish with comments on two cultural items that I see that as being very important to understand this crime fiction piece, okay? So chapter one. Chapter one begins very interestingly with a reference to sex, okay? It says, by then it was more than a month since Ernesto had last made love to me, page 3. Maybe even 2 months. I don't know. It wasn't as if it mattered all that much, okay? So here we have a relationship, husband and wife, and something is happening. They are not getting together as a couple. Sex for me implies that they're lacking in communication. But she says, okay, this happens. It's not a big deal, okay? It's just happening maybe temporarily, okay? But then she starts thinking that she should look for his belongings and what he has around the house. And she finds something that is troublesome, okay, on page 4. She finds, she says, a love heart that somebody, a woman, wrote to her husband. And she starts, and the way this woman signed was as true love, okay, true love. And this is an important moment for the narrative. It goes on page 4. I opened his briefcase and there it was, a love heart drawn in lipstick with the words, all yours, across it and signed, your true love. So here we have the title of the book, All Yours, right? And we have what seems to be a cheating husband. And his wife just found out what is being taking place. I want to add something which is secondary, but it's relevant, okay? In this same page, the mother says that her daughter is in a very bad humor. But the thing is, you know, she's a teenager, and for her mom, it looks like Lali is always like this, okay? So it doesn't seem to be something out of the ordinary for Ines. Okay, it's my daughter. She's going maybe through something, but all teenagers are going through something. Okay. Now, how does Ines feel about this intervention? This woman in her life, you know, this other woman. Well, I thought it was interesting that she says that, first of all, she says, this woman must not be important. Okay, I don't think it's important in my husband's life. Let me see, where do I have that? Because there was no way that a woman who drops love hearts with lipstick and signs herself your true love could be anyone important in Ernesto's life. This must be a very silly character, you know, doing that. It seems so trivial somehow, so not grown up. Okay. At the same time, well, that okay. So her first impression is, I don't think this is important. Then she starts paying attention to what is going on in the house. And she listens to a phone call that he receives on page 6. And she hears this woman talking to her husband, okay? And after that, she will, the wife here, Ines, will follow him. She says on a Tuesday, I followed Ernesto, okay? He was in his own car. I took off in my own car following after him. But she did listen to the conversation, the phone conversation. And on page 7, we find an important piece of the conversation. If you don't come right now, I won't answer for my own actions. That's what this woman is telling Ernesto. So come, because I don't know what I'm going to do, but I will do something. So Inés follows him. Then she gets to this park in Buenos Aires, Palermo Park, where they have, where they are meeting together. And she finds out that the woman who seems to be cheating with her husband is her husband's secretary. And now we have her name, which is Alicia, okay? Alicia. So it was Alicia, his secretary. I never would have imagined that woman drawing a heart in lipstick and writing all yours to a married man. It doesn't kind of click together, because she knows Alicia rather well. How come this is happening? Okay. That's an important moment, I think, in the chapter. Okay. But then the accident happens and the death of Alicia will take place. It says, he seemed annoyed about something. Inés is looking at them from far away. There was an argument and she cried. Then tried to embrace him, but he seemed increasingly angry. And then the chapter goes on to page 8. Such was his bad luck, though, that her head, Alicia's head, caught a blow on a tree trunk in the undergrowth, and she was knocked out cold. Ernesto went berserk, shaking her, taking her pulse, even trying to give her mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, all in vain. It was a lost cause. And here we have then, yes, a crime, but somebody, an accident, right? But Ernesto has ended up killing somebody, and more awfully, his wife has seen everything, okay? And she knows what took place. End of chapter. Chapter 2. We have a conversation between two friends, right? Lali, the couple's daughter, and one of her friends on page 9. Hello, Paula. Yes, who's that? Lali. And I thought this was a very intriguing conversation, beginning with, have you spoken to your dad? And Lali responds, no, I don't know if I'm going to speak to him. Did you see what a prick he was today? And then Lali says, my dad is always, worrying about my trips, with the school trips. And he must be worried about that again right now. Okay, so I'm not gonna talk to him. But then on page 10, we have Paula saying, top of the page, go on, you may as well laugh. You have spent all day crying. Why? Because of a trip? We can infer here that no, it must not be because of a trip, okay? It must be something else. And then Paula says, what about talking to your mom? No way, she's irrelevant to me. So language, a teenager may use because, she's not having, she's not communicating actually with her parents, and she's having, keeping her distance. No, they are into their own thing. I'm not going to tell them what is happening. And then an intriguing sentence at the end, page 10. Paula says, promise me that you will won't call Ivan. So who is Ivan, right? Why will she have to call Ivan? We don't have answers, okay? So notice we have the house, what is happening at the house with Inés and Ivan, and what took place, right? The accident, that ended up killing Alicia. And then this conversation between teenagers. Chapter 3. In chapter 3, she's just coming back home, Ines, from the park. And rain, you know, she sees, looks at the rain, but she has an interesting observation. The rain will help erase all the traces of whatever took place. It will wash over the cars, the mud, and things will be cleaned, okay? Then she asked herself a question. Why had he arranged to meet a girl in the Palermo woods? Why would that be the place for them to meet? Then she assumes that her husband is eager to tell her what took place. Page 12. He must be desperate to tell me everything. So her expectation is that Ivan will come back home and they'll be talking about this to find a way to solve the situation, right? Which is logical, okay? But she noticed the character is simply assuming what Ivan will be doing. Will he? We don't know, okay? We don't know that he will actually do that. So she says in the end, you know, I parked the car in the garage, I cleaned the car, and end of chapter. My last chapter, chapter 4. We have an awful conversation, phone conversation between Lali and Ivan's mom, okay? And notice what happens. Who are you, more or less? Laura. Laura or Lali? Oh, yes, Lali says. Ivan is here, but he cannot talk to you right now. Is that true? Really? He cannot talk to her? And then, wait a second. Don't hang up, okay? Ivan has told me everything. Everything about what? And then the mother says, I'm a woman and I understand what? And why would a woman understand the situation and not a man? Page 16. Stop calling Ivan, says the mother. Do not call him. Down the page. You're going to have to take responsibility for your mistake. What mistake? And it's your mistake, not Ivan's. Then next, you and I both know that what you did was underhand. So the mother is saying to Lali, you know that you did something wrong. You are in the wrong. And that what you did was dishonest. Own up to it. What is it? The chapter is not giving us a clue. I mean, it's giving us the clues, I'm sorry, but it's not telling us explicitly, right? And then, if you keep calling my son, I'm going to call the police, page 17. And then, do not ring again. Do not call us again. Those are the chapters. Okay. So, what do I need to say here? That we need to clear-cut different situations happening, but they come together, right? We have what is taking place between Ivan and Ines, the couple, husband and wife, and what is happening to Lila. She's going through something very, very difficult, right? And she's not communicating that to her parents. So this family is in trouble, okay? Trouble. Any which way you look at it, trouble happening. Okay, so question. What took place at Palermo Woods? I need an answer. Hello? Kaylee, help me out.
He killed his assistant. I can't find her name. Starts with an
Yes,
A.
Alicia. Yeah, Alicia. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And the way it's described, it was truly an accident, but he did it.
Yeah.
Okay, done.
Because he like pushed her and then didn't she like hit a tree or something?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and that she bumped her head, you know, against the tree, and then she died, passed away. Number two, what is troubling Lali so much, Megan? What do you think? Because I didn't give you an answer. What do you think is happening?
I kind of made an inference that maybe she was pregnant.
That's my inference, that she's pregnant. Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So we have women's issues. Described, presented, narrated by Piñeiro. We shouldn't lose sight of that. Okay, so my comments on cultural, my cultural comments. Okay. Number one, I think that from the beginning of the novel, we have Piñeiro making comments on traditional conservative women's roles and men's roles in heterosexual relationships. Okay. And she concentrates, Piñeiro, on women, because she's interested in women's issues. So on page 4, if we go to page 4, okay, notice what Ines is saying. She says, because after all, we are not living in the 60s and more. Nowadays, people know that there are other things that are just as important or more so than sex. She was talking about sex at the beginning, right? The family. What is important? The family, spirituality, getting on well, harmony. But what matters to me here, most of all, you know, is getting on well. Okay? So what is the duty of the woman? Preserving the harmony within the household. And notice that this is within the context of my husband cheating on me. Okay? But I am the one that will keep these things together. And my husband should do the same. Okay? Should do the same. Let's get on well. Harmony must be preserved. Number 5, when she says, because the truth is that however painful it is to admit it, at some time or other, all women are deceived by their husbands. It's like the menopause. It may come sooner or later, but nobody gets away scot-free. So this is what the character thinks, right? No matter what, this is the way life goes, and couples will go through this. And she says, well, it can be painful, but we need to admit it. It's going to happen. We just need to assume that this will happen, no matter what. We will suffer, but we have to deal with it, okay? And we have to anticipate it. She takes for granted that this will happen and that we need to anticipate it in a heterosexual relationship, husband-wife married, right? In Argentina. Let's not forget, you know, the novel was written in Argentina. So my comment would have to do with roles of women in Argentinian society, traditional roles within a patriarchal society. How do women go about life and what happens to them when they are married, okay? All women? No, we're talking about a character in a specific type of household, which is, for me, by the way, maybe upper middle class in Argentina, okay? Maybe upper middle class in Argentina. And then, and with this, I will finish. The second most important issue, I think, for us, thus far, you know, that Piñeiro is tackling is pregnancy of teenagers. And what was striking to me when I was reading this, and I wanted to highlight it, is on page 16, when when I think it's the mother, yeah. when the mother was brutalizing Lali, because that's what I think she was doing, harassing her. Notice on page 16, Lali cannot respond. She doesn't say a word. The mother would go, for instance, my son didn't know there was any chance of that happening. If you don't tell him, how could he know? And Lali's saying just I, and then the mother probably is cutting her off, right? It is always up to the woman to say, not even I, Lali gets to utter, not even one word, right? And then we have the same, total silence. Lali is being silenced by this mother. Now, what kind of role are mothers, fulfilling here? Because the mother in this specific moment shows no sympathy to a female, to a female, right, person, individual, right here. And also, not a woman, grown-up woman, but a teenager. So the first thing the mother is thinking is, I need to protect my turf and my son, and this girl, go away, okay? Go away. You're not part of my family. You're not part of my life, and you're guilty. You made the mistake. You got pregnant. It wasn't my son, okay? Because you manipulated. Remember the adjective? It was crucial to me when I read it. Underhand, dishonest. You have been dishonest, and you need to solve the situation on your own. And so my question finally would be, where is solidarity among women? What is happening here that, some women, instead of extending a hand out to reach out, because you see that this person is disempowered, because you see that this individual in front of you might have been going through something that you went through in your own life, right? Where is that compassion? Where is that sense that, yeah, we are together? In fact, what I'm saying to you up to extent is, where is feminism? Where's the feminist, compassion or solidarity or what is it? Positivity, if you will. Where is that? It flew away. There is nothing here. On the contrary, Lali is isolated on her own, and this is troubling the household, the whole family. And that's my first example. I give you a second example next time after your presentations. We'll do the presentations on Thursday, and then I'll do the second example for you, okay? Okay, so have a great day. Thanks for engaging in our conversations. And I will post that assignment, in raise your hand form.
Have a good day, Professor.
You too, thanks a lot. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.